You're not gonna shake my hand?
No, I have.
Okay, you want me to sit down?
I want you to sit down.
You want me to sit down with you?
Yes.
What else you want me to do? Everybody with me? Stay with me, mama! You said if I didn't stop walking, I'll stop walking. Sorry, Okay, just very bad.
Rapper Travis Scott is now a defendant accused in a new lawsuit of attacking and threatening people during a wild yacht trip in Miami 2 years ago. And yes, we got the body cam footage from his arrest, which may now play a key role in this case. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law&Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. All right, real quick, if you're into content creation, if you're putting things out on social media, you might be wondering, how do we get all of these clips out there so quickly on these rapidly developing stories? So we use something called Opus Clip. Opus Clip is an all-in-one AI editor that makes it so easy to cut, create, and upload videos across any platform. Through AI, Opus Clip generates B-roll, it reframes footage, and it even cleans up audio. It is so easy. You just visit opus.pro/sidebar, you sign up, you upload, and in minutes, you will have perfectly edited clips ready to go for TikTok, Shorts, Reels. Opus Clip is really your one-stop shop, and having a tool like Opus Clip means that our producers can get you viral courtroom updates instantly. This is the most powerful tool there is to share ideas and edit like a pro. So go to opus.pro/sidebar to get a free week and then 50% off. Travis Scott, 35-year-old rapper, songwriter. He has just been hit with a new lawsuit. What is it over? This.
What's going on? I rented this boat. The owners came on this boat. They kicked down on my door at 12 o'clock. I don't know what's going on. They knocked on. I don't understand what's going on.
Fighting off the boat.
There was no fighting involved. No fighting involved at all.
Yeah, so I got a lot more body cam footage from officers that is going to potentially fill in pieces of this story. It's not every day you get a body cam in a story, so I'm interested to see what role this might play. So we have this lawsuit that was just filed in Florida. It's in state court, and it was filed by Adrian Frometa, Steve Holguin, and Mirnesa Hasanovic. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing any last names. Pronunciation's never my strong suit. Anyway, it is against Travis Scott, whose real name, according to the complaint, is Jock B. Webster II. Now, the complaint claims that on June 19th, 2024, there was a 2007 yacht called the Carpe Diem, and that Scott allegedly chartered to leave Miami Beach Marina. So Frometa was apparently the captain. By the way, you're going to see him in body cam footage in a little bit. Scott was a passenger. He was accompanied by a security guard, who you're also going to see in some of the footage, and 3 female guests who had apparently all jumped aboard. Now, there is an allegation that Scott and his guests brought alcohol with them. So the yacht heads over to Hobby Island Beach. It anchors. And according to the complaint, Scott claims that he wants to use a jet ski. But Frometa apparently says no. He's concerned that Scott had allegedly been drinking, that he was intoxicated, he was not in the right shape to drive a jet ski. Then it's alleged that Scott instructs Frometa to take the yacht to the Epic Hotel on Miami Beach. Scott allegedly jumps from the yacht onto the dock, leaves everyone on board, gets in a car, and allegedly doesn't return for about 30 minutes. Then, the complaint alleges that when he does return, he was, quote, increasingly aggressive toward Frometa. Frometa claims that he finished the trip, took the yacht back to the Miami Beach Marina, but Scott apparently refused to leave the yacht. According to the complaint, Frometa then confronted Scott, telling him he's got to leave because the charter was over. Now I'm going to read you verbatim from the complaint. And by the way, my first thoughts as I'm thinking about all this, is there any surveillance footage? Are there any text messages documenting anything that might be going on in the timeline, anything like that? Okay, quote, without any warning, Scott pushed Frometa from behind and then struck him with a closed fist to his neck and upper chest. Frometa retreated behind the bar area of the vessel to avoid further harm. I want you to remember that. That's going to be a key component for one of the claims in this case, one of the causes of action. Scott then began screaming at Frometa. Scott repeatedly threatened Frometa, including by stating that Frometa was, quote, dead, and that Scott was, quote, going to kill him. Scott demanded that Frometa come out from behind the bar and speak with him privately, but Frometa refused because he feared for his safety. The security guard accompanying Scott attempted to intervene, but Scott fired him and ordered him to leave the vessel. A few things I'm thinking about now, potential witnesses, if this actually goes to trial, right? Would the security guard testify on behalf of the plaintiffs in this case about what he saw, about what he heard, about what he experienced? What about these other females? Did they witness anything aboard this vessel. Okay, so from there, the complaint alleged that Frometa was scared, that he contacted Hasanovic and Holguin. Again, these are the other plaintiffs in the case. They are the people, according to this complaint, who managed the yacht's charter operations. They apparently arrive on scene in 10 minutes. This is, again, according to the complaint. They also claim they saw Scott acting aggressively. And by the way, in a trial, you imagine they're all going to take the stand and they're all going to testify. Scott allegedly refused to leave the vessel, refused to leave the yacht, but when they tried to disembark, meaning when the plaintiffs tried to get onto the dock, Scott allegedly followed them onto the dock, where he reportedly screamed and acted aggressively. Again, all according to the complaint. Now, one thing I have to call out, this is very, very specific, right? Very specific details of these alleged altercations and timeline. And I always wonder, whenever I read that in a complaint, or even in an indictment too, but whenever you read this in a complaint, civil case, I do wonder whether that specificity of details makes a claim or narrative more credible. Something to think about. Now, I'm going to read you verbatim from the complaint. It says, quote, "In response, Frometa, Hasanovic, and Holguin retreated back onto the vessel to avoid further confrontation. Scott attempted to follow them back onto the vessel. Holguin stood on the gangway to prevent Scott from reboarding the vessel and to protect those aboard. Scott forced his way forward, driving his shoulder into Holguin and Hasanovic. The impact knocked Holguin to the ground and caused Hasanovic to fall, striking her abdomen and buttocks on a table. After the impact, Holguin and Hasanovic retreated onto the interior of the vessel, which was separated from the exterior deck by a glass door." Keep this in mind. It'll come up later. Frometa attempted to prevent Scott from pursuing Holguin and Hasanovic, but Scott went around the other side of the vessel and reached the glass door leading to the interior. By the way, one of the things I am wondering again is there surveillance footage on this yacht? Are there cameras? Going back to the complaint. Scott then screamed they were dead and attempted to force open the glass door while Holguin and Hasanovic physically held it shut from inside the vessel. Holguin and Hasanovic could not safely leave the vessel while Scott was threatening them and attempting to force entry. Again, key component. We'll talk about it later. Holguin and Hasanovic remained trapped inside the vessel until law enforcement arrived several minutes later. Once law enforcement arrived, they escorted Scott away from the vessel. Now, from there, the plaintiffs claim that Scott left the marina, but less than 15 minutes later, he returned, ran toward the vessel, and the plaintiffs claim that they were in fear for their safety, but then law enforcement reportedly detained him. Interesting back and forth about the timeline there. And I'm going to play the body cam in a second, which, again, does it match up with the narrative that you're seeing? But the plaintiffs claim that after all this happened, Scott allegedly posted about all this on social media, tried to profit from what allegedly happened by selling shirts and other merchandise that he made light of the incident. And I mean, look, it was reported that he did release merch about this. It was reported that he released a t-shirt of his mugshot from this episode with the quote, "It's Miami." This was all after his arrest. It was up for sale on his merch site. Now, I want you to keep this in mind because it raises an interesting conversation about damages, right? What they're suing for, what was the harm. I'll get into it. But what makes this case different, and I said it before, is that there is police body cam footage capturing some of the moments of this incident. Keep a careful eye. We actually have all of this up on our YouTube page. We have the full, I think, 30 minutes of this whole body cam. You can check it out. But I want to play you really specific moments that I think could be key. Let me show you this.
I rented this boat. The owners came on this boat. They kicked down on my door at 12 o'clock. I don't know what's going on. I asked them. They knocked on. I don't understand what's going on.
Fight off this boat.
There was no fighting involved. Nobody involved at all.
Clapping. Right.
Yeah. Yo, Corey. You mind if I take this back off, please?
Yeah, that's right.
It's hot security right. Hold on.
So I had to say, never say.
I'm on your boat. I got 12 out of here. That's. Yeah, that's
I need to handle the phone.
Huh?
I need to get an understanding of what's going on.
I rented this boat.
Okay.
These are the owners. The owner pulled up. They told me I had to go at 12 o'clock. It's 12:52.
Okay.
I was in my room. The captain kicked the door open at 12, maybe a little bit before 12 o'clock.
Okay.
I told him it was disrespectful for him to kick the door open while I'm in the room with my friend.
Okay.
And then the owner pulled up, and I was like, "Why did you come to my security? This is my security right here." So right now, all we got is an owner, a captain, and his wife children.
sir.
That's all I got. Was there any fight? No fight. All it is just I paid $20,000 for the boat. Basically, I'm not who said that. I ain't got no weapons. It's basically it's a boat owner and a captain.
So they knocked on the door because you say past 12.
They kicked the door open because it's past 12 o'clock. They want to kick niggas off the boat. They kicked the door open on the water on this side, right? Now he wants to get niggas off. Now he mad because he think I don't know this. I don't know. He's like, oh, you been on my boat. It was fans when they first pulled up.
Hey,
I'm out.
sit down.
I'm with
sit
you.
down.
I'm with
sit
you.
down.
I ain't gonna lie though.
Sit down.
I ain't gonna lie though.
Hey, I told you to sit down.
Courtney on my kids. I'm sitting down with you.
Put
I'm
your
with
phone
you.
down. Put your phone down.
I'm with you. I'm with you. What's your name?
Officer Kamache.
Okay, Kamachi.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Kamachi. My name is
Nice to meet you.
Webster. Last name Webster. What's your name?
Alvarenga.
Huh?
Alvarenga.
You're not gonna shake my hand?
No, I have.
Okay. What's your name?
Relax, relax. You're good.
I told you to sit down.
Hey, listen.
Okay. What's your name?
You need to listen.
I just want to know names before
Okay,
y'all talk
don't
to
worry.
me. That's it.
What's going on?
I rented this charter. I rented this charter for a very good time. I ain't gonna lie, I had the best time of my life.
Your phone.
I know my fault.
Yeah, don't
This is the best time of my life I ever had.
Correct me if I'm wrong. They just want to.
I know they
Nothing. They just want them off.
I know they want me gone.
Do you have anything in that boat that you
Man, what? No. But what I want to do is have a real conversation. Because I'm a real turn person. I like to have a real good time, right? And when I rent something, to me, these boats out here in Miami ain't talking about nothing. A 90-foot or a 100-footer is nothing to me, regardless. If they renting boats out for 4 hours or 8 hours, it's nothing to me.
Okay, so what is it that you want with them?
I don't want anything.
So you're
All I
so
want
we can-
is the respect, and I was gonna leave. But there ain't nobody gonna boot me off of nothing. They can call
we don't know
911, 1011, 1111, but nobody's gonna move me off of nothing.
Sit down. You
I will
see?
sit down. I will
Sit
sit
down.
down.
You're not
I will sit down.
listening.
I'm with you.
Hey, let's take a walk. Come on, grab your
I'm
stuff.
with you.
Hey, grab your stuff. Thanks, bro. Hey,
Nah, I'm not
that's
grab. Hey, security.
That's your security guard, right?
Grab that.
You see. Damn, like that, bro?
Yeah, it's like that. On my kids, it's like that. On my kids, it's like that. Because it's billions up. On my kids, it's like that. Please don't. I can walk with you.
Wait.
Don't touch me. Just don't.
Hey,
What you want
sit
to do?
down.
I'll sit down.
I didn't tell you to
What
leave.
you want to do? You want me to sit
I
down?
want you to sit
You
down.
want me to sit down with you?
Yes.
What else you want me to do?
Because I'm going to check what you got in your bag.
Yeah, it's hard number, hard drops and
Yeah,
laptops.
but listen, okay?
What else?
You want to be cordial? So
I'm
start
super
listening.
cordial. One thing you know about me, I'm the smoothest mother.
So just listen to
gonna learn
us,
quick.
and that's it.
Ain't nothing on me, baby.
You said, I'm telling you to sit down, and you still
You asked me to
listen.
check
You
that.
sit down.
Sit down. Make sure you check that backpack though. Check that backpack, because you asked to check it. What's your
Yes,
name?
I'm checking. Come and check.
Kamichi. Make sure you check that backpack. Mama, check that backpack.
Now, this is his account of what happened, right? We don't have video of the entire alleged altercation that was described before in the complaint. That's why I mentioned, are there cameras aboard? And the plaintiffs could argue that this video allegedly shows him being somewhat aggressive, disorderly, intoxicated, especially with police, right? They can make the argument, if this is the way that he's acting with law enforcement, what do you think he was acting like with us, civilians? That's an argument I wonder if they're going to make. But the counter argument, something that I wonder whether or not Mr. Scott's defense team could say is, look, what's wrong with what he's doing? He's not exhibiting the alleged type of violence they claim. His attorney could say he's cooperative. He's trying to shake hands. He's just trying to tell his story. Now here is who appears to be Frometa, the captain, giving his account of what happened.
After we arrived here, charter was until midnight, and I went to the bathroom. I went to his door. I asked him to walk.
He was on the boat already.
Yeah, this guy.
Everyone here was already.
Everywhere. So like,
Was he the one fighting with you? Were you involved in the altercation, or you just witnessed it?
no, I was here. It was it started with me.
Oh, started with you. Okay.
Yeah. So I knocked the door, and he says like the door was kind of open. We said like, "Well, charge ends at midnight, right?"
So he
So it was like 20 minutes later, and I was knocking the door. So like,
to leave.
lit.
Okay.
So we are- after 20
you
minutes
bring the
of-
boat out, they pay for it, and you take them out, and then you come back and they leave.
Yeah, we came back, and so it's like, but then he says like, I don't want to go. So when I went back upstairs, and when he came out of the bathroom, he started pushing me like, "Hey, why are you disrespectful? Hey, what are you talking about? Oh, because you opened the door when I was with the girls. It's okay, whatever." your charter ends at 12. So you need to leave the door.
Okay.
Okay, and then it comes out like then when he was leaving, and I called the managers, the owners of the boat. I told them, hey, something happening here. I'm troubles here. This guy is he has a security guy with
That's
a gun
his.
or
That's
something.
his security.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and this guy has a gun or whatever. So I called the security guy when these guys start pushing me. And says, okay, let me call the security guy. I don't want to touch him, you know. I don't want to hit him or nothing. And then it started fighting with me, or like you said, no, it says, come here, I want to talk with you by myself.
I think there's more people in there.
Now, that's some of his account, right? And by the way, his account is going to have to be consistent with the other accounts that he ever gave in this case, right? What he told law enforcement, what is being asserted in this complaint, what he would, say in a deposition, how he would testify at trial. There needs to be consistency there for purposes of credibility. But really, what you have here is a he said, she said. And there's a couple more moments from the body cam that I do want to show you. So this is where police appear to escort Scott away from the yacht, but there appears to be a conflict or an issue over him getting this green Louis bag, seemingly a Louis Vuitton bag, that's on board.
Comanche, shout out Comanche, shout out to the mother gang, MIPA, mother. We need this mother. What's your name?
Yeah, as long as you're walking, you're good.
What's your name?
Yeah, as long as you're walking, you're good.
Tess, what's your name?
I already told you.
What's it?
Alvarenga.
Alvarengo.
As long as you're walking, Comanche, you start walking, I'm walking.
I know y'all gotta do what y'all gotta do. Nah, I do gotta act right. You know what it is. I'm sober as hell.
Don't stop walking, boy. I told you something. Stop walking.
Hey, if I stop walking, you can lock me up. Keep them if I stop walking, I swear to God, you can lock me up. Man, what? You think I'm gonna fall? If I fall, you lock me up. If I fall in the water, you can lock me up.
I'm waiting for him to stop.
Man, what? I know he waiting for me to stop. I know he want me to stop. I swear he want me to stop. I'm so far ahead. I swear to God, I'm gonna run through this motherfucker. What we doing, swear? What? Oh. That's your right. That's your right. It's my left. My right? My right is what's here. The security of itself. You carrying your back? Nigga, yes. I think I broke my bag. I'm right with you. I just think I am now. My bag right behind me. What do you think I got going on? Huh? What y'all got going on? It's about 80 y'all. Go this way. Where's that? I need help get my bag.
So gave it to security.
You sure my
Yes,
green
I gave it to security.
my green Louis bag? It's a green Louis bag still on the boat right now. I ain't got no reason. Y'all got cameras in y'all chest. Just wasting your time right now.
Go to the side.
I guess my bag is on the boat. Y'all scared me. Y'all scared me. Y'all told me to leave now or y'all gonna put me in cuffs. Listen, you told me if I leave now, you put me in cuffs. I told you if I listen. I told you, do you have anything left on the boat? Do you have anything left on the boat? So no, because you had all your guns. It's 50 cops around me, bro. It's 10 of y'all.
Now you're coming back to say
It's 10.
I told you to leave, and now you're back.
Because you told me to leave, and now I'm back.
Why are you coming back after?
Because I left something. Because it's you.
You told me you had nothing left on the boat.
Because it's 50 cops, bro. It's 13 of y'all.
You told me you had nothing left on the boat.
Because it's 13. I didn't know if I had nothing. You didn't give me no chance. I tried to turn around and check. You told me do not go on that boat or you're gonna lock me up. You said if I stop walking, you was gonna lock me up. Did you not? You said if I just stop walking, if I stop walking.
Sorry, come on. Okay, John, go back. Hey, should we see those?
Oh, you gotta do this, man.
I just don't get why I'm back here.
It's a misdemeanor charge, man. Trespassing property after warning. You'll be out in the morning.
I trespassed after one?
After a warning.
After a warning?
Yeah.
But even if I left my bag into a boat that I rented with my...
The thing is, officers give you the opportunity to gather all your stuff. You said you didn't have anything.
Y'all didn't give me an opportunity. Y'all said I couldn't go back on the boat. So what's the two charges?
Disorderly intoxication and trespass property
Y'all
after
didn't even
warning.
breathalyze me to be intoxicated.
You don't have to breathalyze you, man.
How you know I'm intoxicated?
Because we smell it.
You can't be drunk in Miami?
You can, but you can't act a fool while you're drunk, man.
Yeah, so he gets arrested. According to TMZ, prosecutors, though, they ended up dropping this disorderly intoxication and trespassing charges. By the way, fun fact, guess who represented him in the criminal case, or represented him at the time in that small criminal case? Our good friend Bradford Cohen. Yeah, there was a statement at the time that he made that said, quote, Mr. Scott was briefly detained due to a misunderstanding. There was absolutely no physical altercation involved, and we thank the authorities for working with us towards a swift and amicable resolution. Now, it is possible that those officers could be called to testify, that the body cam could be used as evidence, even though a criminal case didn't really materialize. You can see sometimes a civil case go forward despite what happens in a criminal case. Different standards of proof, right? One's beyond a reasonable doubt. Usually in a civil case, it's preponderance of the evidence, more likely than not that something happened, more than 50%, right? 51%. Okay, so now let me get to what they're suing for. 12 causes of action here, 12 claims. Count one, assault. So the allegation, and this is from Frometa against Scott. The allegation is that Scott hurled threats and used force against Frometa, that he intended to cause harmful or offensive contact. It's not the actual contact itself. It's more about the anticipation, the threat of it, that this created a reasonable fear of harm. Reasonable. What is reasonable under the circumstances? Now, Frometa claims that he suffered damages. He suffered harm in the form of fear, humiliation, severe emotional distress, anxiety, mental anguish, pain. You're going to see all of that potential harm in almost all of these claims or causes of action, right? And something to keep in mind for this count and all of them, the jury would have to decide, A, did this happen, right? Was there an assault? Was there the other causes of action we'll get into? Intentional infliction of emotional distress, battery. Did this happen, right, by a preponderance of the evidence, more likely than not? Usually that's the standard. And B, did Frometa prove the harm? Did he present a sufficient case for purposes of damages? How much should that be? Usually you would see medical reports, therapy notes, witness testimony, things like that to show how you suffered, show the harm. And I would imagine that the plaintiffs would argue that him selling or him allegedly selling merchandise, and the argument would be profiting off of what happened to them, that contributes to their harm. That contributes to the damages calculation, what they suffered, what they continue to suffer as a result. Don't know if it's going to be effective, but again, I think that's going to be an argument. Count two, battery. This is again Frometa against Scott. Now, this is kind of like the sister claim to assault. This is not about a threat anymore. This is about actually inflicting physical contact on someone. And you remember the account that was in the complaint, right? So Frometa claims Scott intentionally made harmful and offensive contact. It's not just a brush, it's something more severe. Count three, false imprisonment. This one's interesting. So Frometa claims that Scott restrained his freedom of movement, that he deprived him of liberty, that this was unreasonable. And I would suppose, in the way that I'm reading it, is that the bar allegation is what this is about, right? Retreating to the bar and he had nowhere to go. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily going to be considered false imprisonment. Usually, a lot of times you see false imprisonment, someone's locked away or someone blocks someone's exit. I mean, you could make the argument that he had nowhere to go because he was afraid of Scott, that he feared for his safety. But is it as clear-cut as assault or battery? Something to think about. Count four, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Again, this is from Frometa to Scott. Always a very broad claim. It can encompass a lot of different behavior. But Frometa is claiming that Scott engaged in intentional or reckless, extreme, and outrageous conduct. Those are terms of art. It really needs to cross the line in a severe way. You're talking really egregious and harmful behavior, claiming that what he allegedly did went beyond all bounds of decency. Count five. So this is another assault claim, but this one is Holguin against Scott. Count six, another battery claim, but this is Holguin against Scott. Count seven, false imprisonment, Holguin against Scott. Again, it's all the basic same ideas. And this one, actually, the false imprisonment one, it goes to the idea that they were stuck on the vessel, right? They had nowhere to go. They were trapped. By the way, this is all going to come down to who started what, right? Who is the aggressor? Who blocked whom? Who used physical force or threats first? And there may be an advantage to the plaintiffs, to the charter operators, in saying, hey, look, He overstayed his time on the yacht. We had to ask him to leave, but it does matter the circumstances. It does matter the way that was all communicated. Yeah, you can make the argument that was their property. They rented it out. They chartered it out for a period of time. Maybe Scott signed a waiver or some form agreeing to leave at a certain point, or that he rented it out for a certain point of time. That would be an important piece of evidence. But again, the back and forth, the way this actually happened, it's going to be important too. Count 8, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Again, Holguin against Scott. And then you have counts 9, 10, 11, 12. They're all the same ones that I mentioned, but this is for Hasanovic. All right. So look, this is the start of a new legal battle for the artist. He will most likely try to get it tossed out, motion to dismiss, failure to state a claim. Maybe there's a statute of limitations issue. Maybe there's a jurisdictional issue. Usually you see failure to state a claim. That's very common, that even if you accept all the allegations as true, they don't support the elements in the claims. They don't support the claims in this case, that this is not false imprisonment. You see that happen a lot. Sometimes successful, sometimes not. And also usually in a lawsuit, his side would provide an answer to the complaint, admitting or denying the allegations. I want to keep a careful eye on this. I want to see what develops, but interesting case nonetheless. New chapter for Travis Scott. That's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you should get your podcasts. You can also check us out on NBC's Peacock as well. If you want to follow me, X, Instagram, my News Nation show, Jesse Weber Live, Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. Eastern. See you next time, everybody.